Hey everyone, I'm Jenny Garcia, and in this video I'm going to teach you how to make these shaker embellishments. And I got the idea of making these because one of the embellishments that Ali Edwards had this year were some shaker tags, and I got the idea, from that to do these. So this one has inside a clear overlay from Pretty Little Studio, and this one is from the Christmas Cheer collection. There are so many. You can go to categories and then click on clear overlays, and you're gonna get so many here. I just have this 3 right now because I was deciding which ones to use. So that one is with a clear. This one has vellum inside. I'm going to use this one also from Christmas Cheer, but again there are many vellum papers. So this is vellum, this is the clear overlay, and then just regular cardstock, but I'm going to use this foil one again from Pretty Little Studio. And here, so I did the clear, I did the vellum, and then I did this one with pattern paper. And I used the packaging for one of the items. This one I'm just going to glue down, so it doesn't really matter. This one is the one that I was very interested in having both of the sides work. Now, this shape, it's kind of tricky. Was kind of tricky, especially the first one. I think this is the first one that I made. And this one was the last one. And of course, the last one was so much better because once you practice, you'll get the trick. But for now, you're going to need dies or punches. And you're going to need extra page protectors. These are just, sometimes I cut down a page protector so I can have a smaller, like a 6x12 or something like that in my project life. So I keep the scraps. So I have a few scraps here. You're gonna need whatever you pick. It's the same process. What it's different, it's how they look. And you're gonna need a fuse tool. Mine, I've used it so much, that is why it looks kind of gross. But it still works, and that's what you're gonna need. You can also use your sewing machine, because I know that I got a comment on Instagram like, oh, I don't know how to sew, or I don't have a sewing machine, and I was like, yeah, I just use my fuse tool. So let's get to the sped up process part of the tutorial. Thank you. Once you have your die cut, you can either punch a shape or use your dies to cut a shape, or you can even use a pre-made die cut. You want to make a sandwich with the page protectors. You want to make sure that there's a layer on top and one below the die cut. You're going to leave a little space when you are using your fuse tool. If you are using a clear or transparency, whatever you want to call it, make sure that you leave a little bit more space. I think it's because since it's plastic, it will melt faster. And here are the sequin mixes that I'm going to use inside of the shakers, and I have a video where I made these, and I will link them in the cards, that way you can check it out too. And you want to make sure that you leave a space where you can put the sequins in the die cut, and also that part that you don't fuse, leave enough space so you can fuse and then cut the excess. And I'm using, this is a bead scooper. I'm gonna have most of my items linked below, so you can, check them out. Pretty Little Studio also has sequins that you can use in your sequin mixes, and those are really cute too. And you want to put enough inside to for things to move, but you also don't want to add way too much because then it will be too bulky for your album. And then you're going to seal it and you're going to cut the excess. And it's super easy. It's honestly the first one I recommend using a shape like this, a tag, something super easy, because the first one is always kind of tricky. My first ones I made with the hard die cut, as you saw, but that curved in those curves in the hard can be a little difficult. So I would recommend just starting with something simple. Maybe even the star is easier because it has straight sides. And I chose to use this envelope instead of using the Happy Planner extra cover that I use most of the times, because I figured from last time that I made it, when I used the clear, it kind of like it was difficult to hold it too. I don't know why. They're still inside of the page protectors, but it just worked out that way. That way the little teeth can hold on to something as you roll it and you press down. And it's super easy. Once you make a few, they're gonna be like so easy to make. And at the end of the video, I'm only going to embellish one like I did with the previous hearts, because I want to see how I'm gonna use them on my December daily before I decide to embellish them. Maybe I won't even use an embellishment. Maybe I can use a number and that will be my day marker. Maybe I can leave them like that. But it's easy enough that if I have a page where I want to do this with a photo or with something else, a different color, I can quickly do it now. I think it's one of those things that you just practice quickly and then it comes naturally. And I'm going to use a snowy sequin mix since this already has some red, but I also wanted to add a tiny bit of red too. This shape is a little bit more tricky. Again, it's straight sides, but I maybe should have left a bit more space to add the sequence. So if you do a star, instead of just leaving 1 point, maybe leave it 2 or 1.5. But again, they're super easy. And I'm gonna leave these without the embellishing. And I'm gonna use the tag in a card at the end because I figure, like, you know what, let me show you how I use these embellishments. But I wasn't planning a December daily at that moment, and I figure a card. I send lots of cards during the holidays, so I thought it was just a perfect idea. But it will also make, like, now I got that idea that maybe I could do like a circle and add people's photos inside, but maybe not too much. That way you don't cover their faces. And that one's kind of hard to appreciate. Actually, the clears are my favorite, but it's kind of difficult to see it on photos. It doesn't translate the same way. So you can wait until I show the photos of the close-ups to maybe take a better look, but it honestly looks a million times better in real life. And at first I thought, you know what, I'm just going to decorate the tag and leave it like that. But then I was like, I want to, you know how I like to overcomplicate myself. So it went from I'm just going to do the shapes to I'm going to embellish this one and then I'm just going to make a card, because it just gets progressively, more difficult. But it was actually really easy. And lately I've been loving my dies. I don't know what is it about. I do have the Silhouette Cameo, which I love, but I like cutting materials that maybe don't cut as well in the Cameo, or maybe I haven't tried because I just recently got the Cameo 4. Before that, I have the first one. But I love how crisp the cuts are, which you can also do with the Cameo. But the Cameo is more of a, lately for me, it has become more of a print and cut tool. So whenever I just need a star, I just go for my dies. So I think this star die, oh my god, it's either from Momenta or from Recollections. I made a mistake of throwing away the package because I have them in a 6x8 album with magnet sheets. And I threw away the packaging and I didn't label it. Lots of these are labeled, but that one I forgot. So this one looks cute just like that, and it would make like a cute embellishment if you were to do like a swap or something like that. I do love that little heart. I'm going to make a really simple card. I'm going to use the Pretty Little Studio papers here too. I use the same paper that I die cut it using that Momenta die for the mat of the card. I was thinking about just using plain red, but I really like how that looked. And also the word paper, the paper with words, sorry, it's from Pretty Little Studio. I'm going to add some pom-poms, and since it's quite difficult to glue in page protectors, especially if you're using some kind of ribbon trim, I just decided to staple that, and then I'll cover it with one of the scallop borders. And to give the card a little bit more difficulty, not difficulty, more dimension, more texture, I'm going to use a Tombow foam tape to keep adding layers. I absolutely love the Tombow foam tape. I always use it in all the cards. My envelopes are always a little bit padded, which, you know, can have an impact in the postage, but I don't know, I think it's worth it. And I figured that I needed a tiny bit something extra, so I'm going to add some twine and a little bow on the side. And on top, I'm also going to be using the Tombow foam tape. I'm going to put it on top and the bottom, and then add in the middle directly on the card. And I do love a shaker card. If you have seen my cards, you know that I love them. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you found it useful. Let me know if you try it out. I would love to see your version. Thank you so much for watching. Have an awesome day. Bye.